Good afternoon. I'm Ann Weiser. Today I'm going to talk to you about Main Street, USA, and how it started out as a real street in small-town America, but ended up as a myth created by embellished memories and idealized images. The myth is so deeply embedded in the American collective consciousness that Main Street has been used as a powerful symbol on the American political stage. And yet, the storybook version of Main Street, co-opted by politicians and pundits, is quite different from the contemporary reality of main streets across the country. So what precisely was the real Main Street? The Main Street that rests so firmly in our mind's eye was the central business district of small towns and looked like a 19th century New England colonial town. You could expect to see a barber shop with its requisite red and white candy cane pole, kids wandering into the 5 and dime for an ice cream soda, geraniums in decorative pots lining the streets and window boxes, and American flags. Main Street was also a very social place. Neighbors used the street not just to buy goods, but to catch up on local news and gossip. Because these streets were so nearly identical from town to town across the country, everyone knew what Main Street looked like. So how did the idea of Main Street become a revered symbol for pragmatism and wholesome white middle-class values? Film, television, the covers of the Saturday Evening Post, and these hand-tinted turn-of-the-century postcards are what gave Main Street its ownership of the values that many Americans like to see in themselves. It was through these media that the notion of honesty, intrinsic goodness, and hard work became secured to Main Street's architectural terrain. In films such as It's a Wonderful Life and Back to the Future, Our Town and Back to the Future, the real Main Streets informed how the filmic Main Street should look, and the filmic Main Street informed how the mythic Main Street should behave. Television shows such as Ozzie and Harriet and The Andy Griffith Show, with their clean kitchens and white picket fences, led you, by extension, to know exactly what their Main Streets looked like, and by further extension, the scripted respectability that fastens itself to Main Street. The work of illustrator Norman Rockwell reinforced the idyllic scenes from filmic Main Street and can be credited with extensively furthering the idealization of small-town American culture. His America was innocent, virtuous, and decent. For the Saturday Evening Post, a bi-monthly general interest magazine, Rockwell produced 322 covers over a period of 47 years. It was the sheer repetition of images that continued to infuse the collective consciousness with a wholesome sense of itself. Less overtly persuasive, but nonetheless powerful, are the hand-tinted postcards from main streets around the country. Civic leaders hired postcard artists to delete unsightly aspects from their photographs of Main Street. Hundreds of millions of these meticulously altered Main Streets changed hands and helped shape the popular conception of Main Street. Clearly, all of these media Main Streets have been retouched, as adding a rosy sheen, indicating a disparity between the depictions of Main Street and the possible reality that lies beneath. As French social psychologist Gustave Le Bon noted in 1895, crowds have always undergone the influence of illusions. Whoever can supply them with illusions is easily their master. The idealized perception of Main Street is often used as persuasive political rhetoric. It is applied as a backdrop in campaign ads, and then once the concept has penetrated our collective consciousness, Main Street need only be mentioned by name. Even gestures such as the rolling up of shirt sleeves, handshaking, and backslapping embody the values of Main Street. But the Main Street that one recollects is one that no longer exists. Unlike the real Main Streets of the past, where a town's population could find everything they needed, the revitalized storefronts of small-town downtowns house real estate offices, specialty food shops, upscale restaurants, and art galleries. More commonly, however, many Main Streets across the country have become nothing more than strip malls, with traditional mom-and-pop stores having been replaced by multinational chains. And there's worse. What appears to be little known or once known and now forgotten or ignored is the degree to which so very many of our Main Streets across the country have been taken down and irreparably damaged by the methamphetamine epidemic. I intend to turn my research into a documentary film, and to that end, my co-director and I have prepared a pitch trailer in order to secure support for the project.
They say every town has its main street. Well, this is ours. We built it with civic pride and remain proud of its dignity and friendly, tolerable characters. We feel safe and are very proud of our municipal government. For through this force, our town is kept in order and we are protected from unlawful and disrupting influences.
We believe that the best of America is in these small towns that we get to visit and in these wonderful little pockets of what I call real America, hardworking, very patriotic, very pro-America areas of this great nation.
You know, I think there's a quite serious and almost desperate attempt to reclaim small-town America because rural and small-town America is totally under siege. The reason that small-town America is dying is because agriculture has become multinationalized. Towns no longer have an economic basis to exist, and the drug trade steps in where other economic activity has failed.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the
It is very much a world of hope, in which people are all intrinsically good. They aren't necessarily the whole reality.
You find yourself in a bygone time, another world. The clock has turned back a half a century, and you're in the main square of a small American town.
Turn on your magic beam.
Merry Christmas, you wonderful Billy alone!
We have to be ever vigilant and also making sure that credit markets don't seize up. That's where the Main Streeters like me, that's where we would really feel the effects.
It's gotta be a dream.
The people who have decided to move here have really bought off on the dream. They want that Disney experience, and they want a hometown. You know, a little bit like, one of the old Twilight Zone shows.
My hometown.
This is where we find the kindness and the goodness and the courage of everyday Americans.
Our main streets, whitewashed windows and vacant stores. Seems like there ain't nobody wants to come down here no more. To your hometown, to your hometown, to your hometown, to your hometown. This is your hometown.
Thank you.